Have you ever asked yourself this simple question: why do I keep spending money I don't even have? We know we shouldn't. We tell ourselves we'll save next month. But somehow, we swipe, tap, and spend again and again. It's not always about greed or lack of discipline. Sometimes, it's something deeper, something wired into our brains, our emotions, and even our sense of identity. Welcome to The Psychology of Money: Why We Spend What We Don't Have. In this video, I'll dive deep into the emotional, social, and psychological forces that drive our financial behavior, and more importantly, how to finally break free. The first chapter is, money is emotional, not logical. When it comes to money, we love to think we're rational. We make budgets, plans, and financial goals. But the truth is, money isn't just math. It's emotion. It's tied to fear, desire, self-worth, and even survival. Behavioral economists have found that our spending habits are often emotional responses, not logical decisions. When we're sad, we buy. When we're stressed, we buy. When we're bored, we buy. We don't spend because we need something. We spend because it feels good. It's a way of taking control, a temporary escape. And for a few minutes, that dopamine hit feels like everything is okay. But as soon as the emotion fades, we're left with regret and an empty wallet. The second chapter is status, image, and social pressure. Let's talk about one of the biggest hidden forces behind overspending: status. In the past, wealth was measured by land or livestock. Today, it's measured by what people see on social media. New phones, luxury clothes, vacations, it's all about signaling success. We buy to project an image. We want to be seen as capable, confident, and doing well, even if our bank account tells another story. Psychologists call this impression management. We spend not to impress others, but to manage how we believe others see us. And that's dangerous, because it keeps us in a cycle of chasing appearances instead of building real wealth. It's not just vanity, it's biology. Humans crave social belonging. We fear rejection. So we buy to fit in. The third chapter is the credit trap. Now let's talk about the illusion that keeps this cycle alive: credit. Credit cards, buy now pay later, instant loans, all give us one dangerous illusion: affordability. They trick the brain. Because when you pay with cash, your brain feels pain, literally. But when you swipe a card, that pain is delayed or even gone. The result? We spend more often, and more easily. This is why debt has become normal. It's not that people are irresponsible, it's that the financial system is designed to make spending painless and addictive. And the longer we live in that illusion, the harder it becomes to tell what's a want and what's a need. The fourth chapter is childhood and money trauma. Our relationship with money starts early. By the age of 7, our money habits are already forming. If you grew up in a home where money was scarce, you might subconsciously spend to feel safe, because spending gives you the sense of abundance you never had. If you grew up watching your parents argue about money, you might avoid it altogether, because money feels like stress, not security. And if you were rewarded with gifts as a child, you might associate spending with love or validation. We think we're managing our finances, but in reality, we're often managing our childhood emotions through money. The fifth chapter is the comparison game. Let's be honest, social media makes us broke. We don't just compare salaries anymore. We compare lifestyles. We see someone go on vacation, buy a car, or move into a new apartment, and suddenly, we feel behind. Comparison creates insecurity. And insecurity drives spending. We buy not because we want the thing, but because we want the feeling of catching up. We want to close the emotional gap between where we are and where we think others are. But the truth? You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel. And the more you play that game, the more money you lose trying to buy happiness that can't be purchased. The sixth chapter is instant gratification versus long-term reward. One of the biggest psychological battles in money is between now and later. We all know saving and investing pay off long-term. But psychologically, the brain favors immediate rewards. A $5 coffee now feels more valuable than $5 in savings that will grow over time. It's called temporal discounting, our tendency to undervalue future benefits compared to present ones. It's not a lack of intelligence, it's human nature. But the financially wise learn to reprogram that instinct, to find satisfaction not in spending, but in growing. 7th chapter is marketing manipulation. There's an entire science built around making you spend money. Colors, music, smells, and even pricing are designed to bypass your logic. Stores use the 9.99 effect because your brain reads $9.99 as $9, not 10. Apps use notifications and flash sales to trigger urgency. And limited time offers make you act before thinking. It's not just about selling products, it's about shaping behavior. When you understand this, you stop being manipulated and start making intentional decisions. The 8th chapter is the myth of retail therapy. We've all heard it, I deserve this. Or, I've had a bad day, I'll treat myself. This is called justification spending. And while it feels harmless, it's one of the most common traps that keep people broke. Because every time you justify emotional spending, you're reinforcing the belief that spending is the cure for discomfort. But in reality, it's the opposite. It deepens emotional dependence on money and weakens your financial control. True reward doesn't come from buying something new. It comes from building peace of mind, freedom, and control. The 9th chapter is how to break the cycle. How do we stop spending what we don't have? Let's talk about 5 practical mindset shifts. 1. Awareness over avoidance. Start tracking your emotions before purchases. Ask, why am I buying this? Not, can I afford this? 2. Replace impulse with intention. Create a 24-hour rule. Wait 1 day before any non-essential purchase. 3. Redefine reward. Don't treat yourself with stuff, treat yourself with stability. The peace of no debt feels better than a new pair of shoes ever will. 4. Automate discipline. Save before you spend. Automate transfers so your future self always gets paid first. 5. Detach identity from possessions. What you own doesn't define your worth. What you manage well does. The 10th chapter is the new definition of wealth. True wealth isn't flashy. It's quiet. It's security. It's the ability to say no without fear. Financial peace doesn't come from buying more. It comes from needing less. And when you master the psychology of money, you stop chasing validation and start building value. Remember, money will always test your emotions before it tests your intelligence. The moment you master your emotions, you master your finances. If this video opened your eyes to how emotions drive your spending, don't forget, awareness is your greatest financial asset. Every financial decision begins in the mind. And when you change how you think about money, you change how you live. Thanks for watching. Stay intentional, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next one.